Okay, we're ready.
Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care, I'm still free. You can't take the
Alright,
sky from
welcome
me.
to the second episode of First Reaction Fan Reaction.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Or vice versa.
Alright, I'm your host, Dara Whitman, and with me is my co-host,
Cailin. Cool.
Hey.
Hey, girl. How's
It's
it
not
going?
like we've seen each other in so long.
It's been a while.
Been a while, or maybe like a few hours.
Listen, we gotta keep up the willing suspension of disbelief
I
here.
know, right? Just until we actually have disbelief. Alright, so we're still watching Firefly, and I am still the fan.
And I am still the person watching it for the first time.
Hooray!
Yeah.
So we just watched episode 2, The Train Job.
Is it episode 2 or episode 3, technically? What?
I don't, it says on here episode 2.
Alright, we'll believe Wikipedia then.
Alright, always believe Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Wikipedia!
Ba-da-bum.
Alright, so this episode involves a job on a train.
It's pretty straightforward. I feel like, actually, the train wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be. The train really wasn't that much of it.
But it was kind of the big tentpole point.
Yeah, the train was the vehicle of the plot.
You thought it
but
would be the whole episode?
trains are fun. You can do a lot of fun things on a train, but they just kind of showed up and left the train, and really they were only on the train for 5 minutes at the most.
Yep, alright, so I have some fun facts about this episode.
Ooh, I love fun facts. Give them to me.
You do like fun facts?
I love fun facts.
Alright, so Fox saw the pilot, which was Serenity, and they didn't think it was a good pilot, even though it explained everything, kind of set up the world a bit.
Right.
So this was actually, they said they needed a second pilot, so this was the second pilot, which actually, this episode actually aired first. I thought the episode actually aired in July, but it was actually aired in July 2003. So Serenity was actually the 9th episode aired, which probably is not good.
That doesn't make any sense.
Nope. So this was the aired pilot, even though it's not the pilot. Because if it was a pilot, I don't think it would have been as good.
I would have been even more confused. I know I said with the pilot, they don't really explain a lot through right off the bat, but I feel like if this was the first one I saw, it would have been even more levels of what? Because there's characters and you're confused by they're there, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's the characters who are obviously crew members of a ship, but then there's like other characters, like the shepherd guy, you're like, why is he here?
Yeah. Well, and according to the DVD commentary, which we did not listen to, Joss Whedon and the other executive producer, Tim, they only had 2 days to write the script.
For this episode?
Yes.
Nice.
So what do you think of the episode overall before we get into the breakdown?
The episode was pretty all right. It felt to me, it did feel like a very standard post pilot episode, because I feel like when you get after a pilot, you have to do something that's a little more
Fun?
Yeah, or it has some kind of levity to it, because then that's really when you're still trying to figure out characters and you're still trying to figure out other stuff. So you don't want to go into anything too plot heavy, and I think that's what this was. It kind of gave it a better idea of kind of how the characters are. I think the character of Mal, or the captain guy, whatever.
Mal,
yeah, but Nathan Fillion fella. But I think he was a lot more not upbeat. What's the
snarky?
A little more fun. He's a little more fun than he was, I think, in the pilot. There's a kind of more humor to his character, I felt, because in the other one they're like, he was changed by the war, he's serious now, and so you kind of get that he was kind of a little bit of a hard ass in the first episode, but I think they kind of allowed him to have more fun in this episode and the next episode after. So I think they really, you're starting to really see who these characters are.
Well, I remember reading the behind the scenes stuff and watching behind the scenes stuff. Nathan Fillion, basically when he read the part, it was originally a really dark character,
right? And
Nathan Fillion's that's not me. I'm not sure if I can do that. So he kind of brought in the snark, and he was very snarky.
I thought that was a great element to add to the character. So I like that side of the character better than just trying to hammer in the point that war is hell, kind of thing.
Yeah, so let's get into the episode. So we start off in a bar.
Yeah, that was fun.
With some belly dancing. We got Mal, Enzo, and Jane, and they're playing checkers, and they're playing Chinese checkers, which is interesting considering there was a lot of Asian and Chinese infusion into the show.
Yeah, I like that. I'm not sure if I mentioned that in the last
I think
show, but yeah, I really like kind of the idea of mixing, intertwining cultures like that. I think
Like
that
even the
is
fact
really
that
strong.
like, and I think it's when they curse mainly they speak in Chinese.
Yeah, I like that. It's little things like that that I appreciate.
Yeah, like I think somebody translated. I think in like one episode somebody actually translated one of the Chinese that I think Wash said. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I have to. That's something I'd go back and look up
You can
just out of
probably YouTube it.
curiosity. Yeah, just Google.
All right, so they're in a bar, and a drunk redneck comes in, like you do,
Like you do.
and apparently it is Unification Day.
It just makes me think. Have you ever seen that episode of Phil of the Future?
Yeah,
Where they have
yeah,
unification, oh uni day, oh uni day, and they have like the unification loaf. This is not like
nice
that.
Unification Day,
Yeah,
for,
that was-
like world peace and stuff. This is not a basically.
This is
It's the end. It was this. It's
this is
the
a big
end of-
screw you to the people who are the other side of the war. Really.
AKA
Yeah.
Mal.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so Mal gets a bit upset, but he decides he goes up to the bar and I think he kind of wants to fight.
Yeah, he did it like in a really humorous manner. That's really like that was even just in that first couple minutes. That's when you kind of saw that change in the character from that first episode.
Yeah, and I think it was what was the bit like basically the guy was like, "Your coat's a bit brownish,"
Yeah,
and then they said like, "You want to fight?" And then Mal says, "No," and I turn around, and then Zoe just clocks him.
that was fun. Yeah, they a fun bar fight. Yeah.
Yeah, so in the end,
Saloon style.
there's a fight. And then, it's really only Mal and Zoe who are fighting.
Yeah.
Shane's like, I'm not involved, I don't care.
He's doing his own thing.
Yeah. The quote's actually here. Hey, I didn't fight no war. Best of luck, though. And Mal gets thrown out of in the holographic glass.
Yeah, that was like a weird feature, I think, because you're like, yes, it's weirdly futuristic, but why would you have a
I think they just thought it'd be
holographic
funny.
window? It was funny. It was funny. It was a little strange, but it was funny.
They're about to like kind of jump off or not really jump off a cliff, but like they're getting near the end of a cliff after being fought by Fist and Cher.
Yeah.
Or Barstow, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then Mouse's line that I can't remember. It's just kind of like we'll rise again, and then the ship just comes up.
Yeah.
And like they're tricking them into thinking that it's like an actually deadly ship when it's not.
Right.
And then you get to the theme song, which I will keep singing forever.
Yeah, you like to sing that one.
Or you can start to is it catched in your head now?
It's a little bit, I guess.
It's basically then we just get more interaction with Mal and Simon and River and Book.
Yeah, they're doing their own thing.
Yeah. And I think like Book's just trying to get because like Mal clearly doesn't really want Simon and River on the ship, not because he dislikes them,
Right?
because like they're fugitives and they're putting everybody else in danger.
They're a liability.
They are, and like do I want Mal to throw them off? No, because I like them and I like River. I don't think she deserves to go back to wherever she was. I mean, I know where she was, but anyway. And Book's just kind of like he did a good thing, right? Giving up everything to protect his sister. And maybe saying that Mal really does like care about them and doesn't like although like it's like risking like they're still on board even though they're risking a lot to keep them on board. But anyway, another job coming along.
Yeah, the Russian guy
Whose name is Niska. He's very, very Russian. I can't do it. We were trying to do a Russian accent the whole time.
Oh, you were trying to do a Russian accent. I was avoiding that.
I'm Russian, so I can do it. So basically, they get on the ship, and he says basically there's some cargo on a train that he wants them to get. And he basically talks about reputation.
Yeah.
Because he's saying, like, I've heard your reputation. You probably heard my reputation. I want to show you that my reputation is like this is who I am.
Legit.
And
so they
you said he was taken out. The guy was actually dead.
No, it was a nice fella upside down who's hiding behind a door because that was probably his room, and he was taking a nap.
It showed them a bloody corpse hanging by its feet.
That was Wikipedia, so it can
whatever.
go either way. But
and
I
was
think
his wife's
he was
nephew
taking
because he failed to do a job.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh yeah. Wouldn't that be his nephew as well if it's his wife's nephew?
Well,
Don't you usually
probably through marriage?
Yeah, but I feel like
he doesn't care that much.
Oh yeah. Well, that's how you distance yourself. There's some familial issues in there. I think they would need some real family therapy on that one.
Anyway,
the reunions probably aren't that fun.
So basically, there's a cargo train It's going from Hancock to Paradiso, and they need to basically get the cargo off of it, meet them at the rendezvous point, and then give them the stuff. He gives them half the money. They'll take the other. They'll get the rest of it when they get the stuff.
Yeah, your standard heist. Yeah.
Standard heist. It's like for the most part, with a couple twists, a fairly standard episode.
Yeah. It's nothing mind blowing
Yeah, so
plot wise.
what did you think of Niska?
Yeah, he really only showed up in one scene, right? I thought he was an interesting kind of antagonist to have to an episode, but really only showed up for a couple seconds.
Maybe he'll show up for more.
Who knows? I don't.
But like for a
know.
little bit, like I thought he made like a good presence.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's why I said that, because I liked him.
Job.
Yeah.
So like I remember him as one of the main, not a main villain, but like I was a
most memorable kind of thing.
One of a memorable villain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So basically, the plan is Zoe and Mal are on the train. They're going to, then the Firefly's going to fly over the cargo, but where they said it's going to be. Jane's going to, like, basically swing down. They're going to get the cargo attaches, and they're going to lift it up and bring it back on Firefly. Everybody's going to hang on. They're going to get on the ship. They'll go to the rendezvous point, give them the stuff at the end. Mm-hmm. So that's the plan.
Ooh.
And like most television shows, plans do not always go as they want them to. No. So first off, they see an entire cart with alliances, a bunch of RoboCops.
Yeah, a lot of RoboCop people. They're going to the convention, the RoboCop convention. Not as popular as some of those other conventions. But still a convention, nonetheless.
That'd be a weird convention in general.
It wouldn't be very big, I don't think.
Well, a lot of people do like RoboCop.
Yeah. But how much love RoboCop enough to
I know a lot of people love RoboCop.
Apparently in the 22nd century.
No, that was the 26th century? 2517?
Oh, is it 25? Yeah, 26th century.
I have not seen RoboCop then.
Phil of the Future is from the 22nd century.
We're not doing Phil of the Future.
There's a lot of parallels here. I'm just pointing them out.
Okay, but Mal kind of notices that they're not guarding the cargo, they're just there. So he doesn't think it's a big deal. So they're kind of like, okay, let's keep going. So they secure the crates. They get Jane down. Then, and I honestly, I really like this whole thing, because, there is a thing of, are they gonna, it was kind of tense, are they gonna, get everything hooked up, and because they said they never done this before.
Right.
And then, a Fed comes up because he just is curious. Mm-hmm. So, there is a bunch of tension going on, so you're kind of wondering. Mm-hmm. So, I thought, the train job was, definitely, supposed to be, the main point of the show and the high point, and I thought it was a good high point.
Yeah.
And, everything was good.
Yeah.
It was solid. Anything else?
Yeah, no. I'm pretty all right.
So, then he trips, there's a Fed, and they trip a snow trap, but they can't, smoke trap.
Snow trap. Smoke trap.
Whatever.
Yeah, that was fun.
And so we can't actually see them. Mm-hmm. But then they hoist it back up, and Jane gets up with the cargo, but Zoe and Mal do not. Mm-hmm. So they gotta just go back into the cart, and they actually set off a couple more smoke traps so that they can actually get off the train and get back, basically. Back on Serenity, Jane's is kind of like, all right, let's go to the rendezvous point, give them the stuff and get the money. And nobody else wants to do that. Wash isn't going to leave his wife because he loves her.
Yeah, I would sure hope so if they're married.
Well, yeah. Who knows?
I don't know what future marriages are like.
Well, they parked in a place where kind of in a canyon type thing, just so nobody could find them.
Yeah.
And because and Jane brings up a point that thing if they're late, Niska's gonna get upset. Mm-hmm. Which, considering, you don't want to make him upset.
No, or else you're gonna have to take a nap in his closet. Mm-hmm. Upside down.
And Book comes up with a good point, saying if the captain's not there with the cargo and it's just the random people, they might think something is up. Maybe you should wait a bit. Mm. Meanwhile, we go back to the married couple, Mal and Zoe. That was funny. He's like, remember, I love you. And she's like, what? Because you're my wife. Right. But we bring up the sort of twist in the episode. Yeah. Which is the cargo wasn't just a random cargo. It was medicine.
It's medicine in Balto style. not sure
Yeah.
why I thought of Balto of all things.
Yeah, basically it's being shipped to a like poor mining town for like a normal disease that they get there.
Yeah.
So it was really valuable.
Standard space
so,
miner's
like,
disease.
So like basically like they really shouldn't have stolen it.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's a bad thing.
It was
steal.
some morally.
Granted, they didn't know.
Yeah.
But the moral dilemma, did they not say anything and let all these people like probably die?
Or just suffer. A lot
Or
of
did
suffering.
Yeah, so but they were questioned by the sheriff, and they're just trying to figure out like how to like what to do exactly, and everybody else in the crew is trying to figure out how to get them back. So they come up with the brilliant plan of Inara.
Yeah. Just when in doubt, just pull out the prostitute. Really.
Well, come on, companion.
Sorry.
Remember, she is hot. She is much more high established than
is.
the rest of them,
Yes.
and she's got much prettier dresses.
She does. Her wardrobe puts mine to shame.
Indeed. So yeah, so I mean, like, what do you think of like the whole twist of it being like actually extremely valuable medicine that they probably should not have stolen?
And that's not a huge twist, really. It's not a mind blowing or anything.
You're not getting impressed. You're like not impressed.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a huge twist. Like I said, I maybe think of Balto for some reason, even though it's not really the plot of Balto. But so yeah, no, it's a pretty standard. You would think. I mean, if they stole the medicine, there's still like half an episode left. You know, something's amiss here, and you know it wasn't a good person they were working for.
Well, they kind of, like even Zoe said at one point, like this is working for a psychopath. They're like, we worked with psychopaths before.
Yeah.
Because like this thing, just like get the job, do the job, get the money, go.
Right.
Which I feel like if that's what they did, Niska would never bother them again. I don't know why Niska would want them. It actually probably would have cost a lot of money. So who knows? But Anar comes up, slaps Mal like you do.
Like you do.
She says that he is actually an indentured man who's like has a debt to her, and that he convinced Zoe to run off from her husband. And yes, and she says, "Can I bring them back?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think they're okay."
They aight.
Yeah, and luckily Mal doesn't really have that much of like a dilemma. Really, he's like, "No, we're gonna give it back. That's the goal." And I forgot to at one point, Jane basically keeps like persuading everybody, like, "No, we got to get this cargo back." But as Simon was healing helping him, like healing up his leg, he dosed him a bit.
Doped him.
And that was a funny scene.
It's fun watching people.
Well, there's even a bit where Mal's like, we're taking the cargo back, and you see Jane like half off.
That was that was fun. Yeah.
He still got and then. So that's the thing. Like Mal's like, no, we're gonna bring this stuff back.
Right.
Which I think that shows that Mal has a heart.
Yeah. No, he's good. Good fella.
Good fella. I mean, besides the fact he doesn't want to show it.
Right.
But he's got a heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Niska's henchmen show up, and they are big men.
They are large.
They're large, and
one has a facial tattoo, which nothing against people with face tattoos, but has a large face tattoo. It's very large.
There's another fight. Jane shoots them, but he misses. Well, he sort of misses. He doesn't get the head, which is what he was aiming for.
Right.
But then Serenity team wins. Yay!
Yay! And
they decide they bring the cargo back. The plan are just like dragging it up to a point, and they don't really want to get involved. But the sheriff finds them.
Yeah. And
he's like, I think he wanted to get them, like, gonna arrest them for like stealing it, but then they say that like they were returning all of it. So he's kind of like, okay,
yeah,
you're good to go.
He's like, all right, cool. he's pretty cool with that. He's pretty chill.
Well, he says like,
surprising,
and he says like he kind of respects them for doing the right thing, and even like he says that Zoe was right because she said at one point like it's hard finding jobs out here. And basically says like you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Then we get back, and there is still the henchman. So basically, Mal's just saying, here's the money. Take the money. Tell Niska that the job went south. We won't run into you again. Have a nice life. And this is the face tattoo guy.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, like, fuck off, I guess. I don't know. And Mal's just like, dang it. And it's like really, like, probably the best part of the show, just of the episode. Yeah, he just like like kicks into the engine.
Just kicks him into the jet engine. It's fine. That was
I mean,
good.
I love that bit. It's just like
That was a good bit.
I think it shows like with
Appreciate
like
it.
Mal, like he's definitely like he has a heart and like he does care about his crew
Yeah.
a lot, and like if you kind of mess with that, he gets very aggressive and will do something extreme, like just kicking a guy into an engine that's running. By the way,
Oh, it's no big issue.
yeah. So then they go the second guy. He says the exact same thing, and the guy's like, "No, we're good."
We're good. We're fine.
Yeah.
And then they go, and things are good.
Yeah. I also want to bring up because we don't really bring this up. River. She's just kind of going still a bit crazy.
Oh yeah, she has her own side plot things.
Yeah.
Of just her losing it.
I'll ask you when we talk about the next episode what you think is going on with her.
All right.
But like, were you getting like some ideas, like maybe something? Because we know she's very smart.
Yeah. Well, not in that second episode. I think it was just still trying to do a really slow, not slow because it's only one episode, but like a slow reveal of like what happened exactly.
Which, like, we did see a bit of that.
Yeah, the blue hand people. That was that was subtle.
2 by 2 hands of blue.
Mm-hmm. And you see,
at the end of the episode, it's like you see two men who I remember when I first saw it. I thought one of them was Damian Lewis, which would have been funny. It's not him though. Mm-hmm. And they don't have blue. It's blue rubber gloves.
Yeah. And
they have a picture of River. But like you see a bit of her in like a flashback scene where she's got like stuff in her head.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that was well done.
Yeah, that was fun. That was
Yeah, so like, that gives you like, I mean, obviously like the biggest mystery of the show is River.
Right.
Like what happened to her? What is she?
Like why is she so important? Like you get that she's smart, but like that's not enough to make somebody that like important. Mm-hmm. So I think just figuring that out, that's kind of a.
And I really like someone on that role. Like she really does show like somebody who's like kind of like scared and stuff. Yeah. So that's really good. So overall, I mean, this is an episode I don't usually tend to watch again. I realize it's now like it takes a bit of the like I'll maybe watch Serenity like once or twice, but then there's like a few episodes. Like I said, like there isn't a bad episode. It's just kind of like. This is an episode I don't tend to go back to.
Yeah, it's like I said before. I mean, it's kind of like your standard second episode of something where it's just kind of you're still kind of figuring out these characters and still trying to figure out how they do things. So it's more of a break from real plot and just kind of working through things.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, granted, it's a script they wrote in 2 days.
Right.
So I think that's pretty solid. And also, I mean, granted, if this was a pilot, I don't think it would. I mean, well, actually, I don't know if a lot of people left. Like, I know some people who watched the show when it aired, but I don't know many people who did.
No, I don't. Yeah.
So, like, I think it's a solid, like, second episode. Like, most second episode shows, they're not, like, the best, but they're solid. Unless it's, like a 2-part pilot kind of thing.
Yeah. It's, for me, most of it is weird as to show as a pilot, except for the beginning scene. I think the beginning scene, if that was in its own, like, if that was definitely part of a pilot, then I would have been fine with it. But yeah, the rest of the episode is kind of weird for a pilot, I think.
Yeah, so that is The Train Job. I'd say like a middling episode. I feel lower than Serenity, but like still middling.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, and you would agree?
Yeah.
Are you any more?
So far?
Are you any more into the show as you were before?
I think so, as we kind of figure out more of the world and more of the people, I think it's definitely more of like, okay, I want to know more about this now. So it's still keeping my interest. So I haven't checked out yet. So that's good.
All right, we'll be right back with the third episode of Firefly, Bushwacked. All right, so we're back.
Hey.
After that long break. All right, so this is episode 3, Bushwacked, which you said was an interesting name.
It is weird. Even after watching the episode, I'm not sure I understand Bushwacked.
I don't really get it either.
It's probably a terminology thing that I just don't know.
I'd say this is also kind of like a episode, like a Monster of the Week kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bit more better. I think
it's a little more tied in than the last episode, I would say.
Like it's more horror related.
Yeah, I think they were trying to, like, I feel like it was like the Halloween episode.
I don't even know if it was, but I don't think this episode.
Well,
no.
That's true. This show is short enough where they probably couldn't fit like an actual Halloween episode.
Well, I mean, it's like a September kind of thing, so.
Yeah, so it could be.
Yeah, but, so yeah, this is kind of like a bit more of the horror episode and introduce our new segment sort of thing. Dara gets Cailin to watch a horror show.
Yay! Which
isn't really horror right now.
No, that's something that's probably gonna have very few episodes.
I forgot about this episode because this was also an episode I tended to skip a lot just because it's not that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But like watching it again, I liked it a lot more. I think like the horror was done really well.
Yeah.
You learned a lot.
The suspense elements. Yeah, I think it tied in. You learned more that feels like it could be relevant later. Yeah.
And like I think it also really shows that Firefly, like, while it is kind of like a fun show, it's also can be really dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like this episode was dark.
Yeah, it was definitely darker than the last one.
Mm-hmm. All right, you want to get to the episode breakdown?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so the ship encounters a drifting spacecraft, which turned out to be a like a short range. They called it a scow, which converted into a settler transport to the outer planets. Yeah. At first, you just think it's like a ship, but then, first you see like a dead body just like drop.
Oh, that was fun. Just casual dead bodies slide in space.
It's like they ran over a dead body, but if it's in space.
Can you really run over something in space?
But, yeah, probably. Like run over an asteroid. Probably, maybe.
I guess.
Or maybe. Hit it. Like when it's
more like things collide rather than like.
If a bird runs into your window when you're driving, you didn't run over it. It just like hit your window. Mm-hmm. This, and then they say like, okay, let's get on the ship. I think Jane was a bit worried, but then they said like, there might be some cargo. We can sell it.
Yeah, money.
Yeah. Hooray. And while I think it's originally Mal, so and Jane, obviously, they go on the ship. Then Cailin comes on just to like check mechanics and stuff. Yeah. Then Simon comes on for really no reason. Yeah. Well, Jane tricked him. Right. It's like, oh yeah, they need your help. Can you like come on? And he's like, he basically shows like he's afraid of space because he's never actually been in space. Yeah. And then he comes on, he's like having a panic attack, and Mal's just like, hi. Hey, how's it going? And then Jane starts laughing. It's hilarious. We need some comedy in this episode.
Always need comedy.
Yeah, so then, but I didn't know what the ship was at first. I thought it was a bunch of another like Firefly type of ship. Mm-hmm. But then you see like a bunch of toys and a balloon.
I don't get the balloon.
It looked good on screen.
Sure, but why a balloon?
It was probably a birthday party.
You can't on a weird passenger vessel. Why don't you just wait to have the birthday party when you land it?
Well, they might have
on a planet.
But it might have been a while.
I guess, but it's weird that you just take like a
it looked good in the
weird
camera.
Helium device. Okay.
It looked good in the camera
That's
shot,
fine.
Okay? That's the point. Okay.
It's all about aesthetics, really.
That's what we care about here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but so yeah, and they see a bunch of toys, and they see like all of this cargo that basically would last a family for like a good while. Like there's a bunch of protein bars, there's like some like crop stuff.
Yeah, stuff that they can start.
But the point of the matter is when they bring this up, like nothing was stolen. Right. And then River is just like walking around.
She just decides to get up and check things out.
Well, she like notices something.
Yeah.
And she says like the people like and she's the one who kind of points it out, and they look up at the ceiling and there's just like all of these bodies.
It's just bodies on the ceiling.
And like it's like definitely reverse.
What's up with like upside down people taking naps in this show? Why do they all have to be like hanging from the ceiling?
Honey, they're dead.
Oh,
they were probably raped to death.
Oh no!
And their bodies were skinned and then sewn on by the Reavers
as clothing.
They are evil.
Yeah,
I don't know what. Okay. But anyway, so it is definitely Reaver attack, but there is somebody alive. It was a big guy who knocked out Jane. Yeah. Turns out
big Scotty guy.
He's probably the size of like Simon, maybe.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's a regular height.
Joe.
Yeah,
anyway,
average.
So then they find him and they bring him back to the medical room just to see if they can treat him. Mal knows what's going on though. Yeah, we kind of found out a bit later. So like he tells him to dope him, so he's knocked out. Yeah. And River also knows a bit, I would assume.
She looks like she's got some knowledge.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask you this now. What's up with River?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought you haven't.
What's your idea?
What's your idea?
I don't know. It seems like some psychic BS to me or something.
What do you think? What do you think it's
some
BS?
Weird empath. Not like BS, but like something that's of a I don't know, because it's like you're trying to think, because you're in a sci-fi genre here, so you don't want to pull in any. So like, yeah, it's like a sci-fi genre, right? So you kind of think of, well, what fits in the realm of how this is telling sci-fi? I think that's the thing, because you can pull out anything you want. You can say, oh, psychic special powers.
Well, I mean, and psychic would make sense in the sci-fi universe.
Yeah, to a degree. It depends how you're doing it.
Well, also, because, like, I mean, if that was the case, like, of course, like, this whole thing would want them and make it maybe more advanced.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think that's kind of, like, what it is, essentially. Ripper's got some psychic myth. A bit. And basically, they don't really know what to do with this guy. Mal just kind of wants to kill him. And we figure out why later.
Yeah.
But right now they want to get the cargo.
Right.
So the plan is that they're two things. They want to get the cargo. Mm-hmm. So they tell Jane Simon, and Book wants to like kind of like give the bodies like a sort of resting thing. Mm-hmm. But the other reason is that usually Reavers, if another ship attaches to them to help out, they usually like have a thing that attaches like a bomb. So once they release,
they booby trap it.
So once they release it, they're gonna die. Mm-hmm. So Caillin's gotta like detach it, which she does, and I don't know what it was. It looked like a squid. Like when she chipped it, there was blood, and then it kind of went like bloop, 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 mm-hmm. away.
Yeah, that was weird.
That's what it is. Anyway, you think it's okay, but nope, the Alliance shows up.
Yeah,
because they see that like they obviously think that they have an idea that like this might be the ship where Simon and River are because they're fugitives. Mm-hmm.
So that was an afterthought, as opposed to originally it was just like, hey, there's a people and a thing and another ship that's shady.
Well, they find out that there's this ship that was supposed to have settlers, and they were supposed to arrive 3 weeks earlier, which they didn't because of situation.
Because of death situations.
Yeah. Before we get into that, I want to bring up something. What do you think of the Reavers? Like, do you think that they're actually like a good, like, not, I don't think villain, but like scary people?
They're an interesting concept, and I like them so far because they're they mean business, so like yeah. So I think so far there's kind of we're only a few episodes in, but there's kind of a limited kind of what we're seeing of them. It's just kind of the fear of them, mm-hmm. which they really like, which I kind of like how that's done, because people are afraid of them, but they're not really like shown in full force yet. You just kind of see a little bit the idea of them's introduced, and then you see a little bit of what happens once they've seen in place. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of good for really establishing how like dangerous a set of characters are. So I like that. I think that's really interesting.
Okay. So basically Mal has a plan to basically show them all the cargo, because obviously they don't want to be seen as like they murdered all these people and then stole their cargo.
Yeah.
Because they did steal the cargo, but they did not murder them.
They didn't. Very important distinction.
And also they gotta hide River and Simon. So it's kind of like, I like where they hid them though, because I totally forgot about that. Mm-hmm. They basically hide them outside of the ship. They put them in like spacesuits and put them in the blind spot of the ship.
That was cool. I like that. Yeah.
That was
different.
That was like a fun scene between the two of them, because like Simon's just like having a giant panic attack.
I would.
And River's just kind of like,
Hey.
I like it.
Oh, interesting.
She's like actually having fun. Mm-hmm. Then you get to the funniest part of the episode, which is the interviews.
That part was great. I think that's probably my favorite part of the episode.
It kind of shows like everybody. I think it's a good way to show everybody.
Yeah, it was a great way to just give everybody's character without and it was just a fun way to just characterizing everyone.
Who was the funniest?
Gosh, I don't know, because they all had I appreciated them all. So Wash is funny though.
I mean, Wash is
he's just a funny character. Yeah,
I like his like the legs.
The kind of like the comparison of like how the one talks about their spouse versus how the other talks about their spouse, versus like, I'm not going to talk about this. Like, hey, let me tell you every single detail.
Well, it's kind of just like he first why did you find her attractive? He's like, oh no, her legs, and then he's like, then I kind of like it. It's kind of romantic that he starts up with like the one body part that he thinks that he definitely finds attractive, but then he just describes her entire body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's cute.
That's funny.
And then Cailin just saying because they make fun of Serenity, which Cailin does not go for, because I love Cailin. And basically her whole thing is just saying why would you do that?
It's funny because it's brought up because because she said a thing like 5 minutes before that scene, and then they were like, "Let it go," and then but 5 minutes later, like she didn't let it go at all. That was funny.
Yeah, but then we get to
Like that.
Mal's interview, which probably wasn't that much funny, but it did actually tell you a lot about him. I would say.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very main character thing to do. It's just give a chance to really learn more about the character.
He's just like trying to tell them like, we did not murder these people. We visited, and it seems like unless you like are like a traveler person, you don't actually believe in Reavers. Because like Simon didn't believe they're real, and like the Alliance kind of like kind of thing,
right?
But then we get to I'd say probably one of the scarier parts, which is the guy that they find on the ship. He was actually a member of like this settlement group, but it turns out that they didn't kill him. Basically, what the Reapers did was they forced him to watch as they did all this stuff.
Yeah,
which I feel would mess somebody up.
Yeah, very seriously. So yes.
Yeah, and I feel to me like it doesn't make a ton of sense like why this would turn somebody into a Reaver. Kind of like knowing what I know, it makes like, and if it brings up another point. That makes sense to me. Like knowing what I do know about the Reapers,
right? It
makes sense to me, but right now it doesn't. So
I think of it in like Batman terminology. You die a hero, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
We don't even know how long. The ship was probably there for like 3 weeks. We probably had to like look at that for 3 weeks. So basically turns into Reaver. So like basically, he kind of has like a heart thing going on, like a heart problem, real quick, like cardiac arrest, I guess. But then he just like murders everybody.
Then he just comes back. He's like, I'm okay now. Everyone else is dead.
Well, he's not okay. And then like he wants to like find, like they say they've moved to familiar places. So it's like this actually genuinely tense scene where they go into places. Meanwhile, Simon and River think that they're safe, so they go back on the ship. Yeah. So the big thing is, are they going to find them? Then it turns out that they don't find them, but they do find the Reaver, the new Reaver, and I think he had like glass in his face.
Yeah, it was hard to see. I'm not sure what it was like. Yeah, get like glass or like pins or something. That was creepy. Yikes! It
was creepy. And then basically hits. I think he kills one of the guys. And there's like blood everywhere. And then Mal just breaks his neck. And he wouldn't do them in the first place, which like is kind of like this guy's gonna die, or like he's not gonna live a good life. He's like. I guess you can kind of see them as like zombies, but I think think of them as like
that's how I kind of got that vibe too. It's kind of like
dead, like they probably still have a bit of them that's like still.
But it's kind of like a fate worse than death to kind of be a victim of that. So I think it's kind of what they're getting. So it is kind of a zombie kind of feel because they're these really not human anymore creatures. But they are, but they're not. Yeah. So I think zombies a good way to kind of start identifying. To think about identifying them. Yeah, so after that, the Alliance guy, he still takes the cargo, but I think he's like appreciative. So basically like, all right, you guys can go. And that's basically the end of the episode. Yeah. So in comparison to the other episodes, what do you think of this one? I think I like this episode. I like because of just because it had some really good moments, like the interview section with the Alliance. I think that was a really strong section as far as character-wise. You got to learn more kind of how different parts intersect, because you have parts with the Alliance and you have parts with like these Reavers where they talk about them, and then they kind of intersect at this point and you kind of see how they interact. And so I thought that was really good. It was really strong in kind of building those concepts. So yeah, I didn't have too much of like the overarching plot, I don't think. Didn't really have much of that, but it still offered enough information that it pushed things forward, I think. Do
you think this is the best episode so far? Did you like one better?
The first one I think is still kind of standing out to me just because it was such a huge introductory episode to everything. So I'm not sure how it quite falls yet. I think I do like it more than the second one, but I'm not sure how it stacks up against the first one. So I think I'm going to have to keep watching.
Yeah, I think for me, like this, like I said, this was an episode that I tended not to go back to because I just didn't remember enjoying it. Like I think after this, I started like really, really enjoying the episodes just because they were like so much fun and like, or they were interesting. But like going back, I actually really liked this episode. Like I think like horror wise, it did very well. You get more of the Reavers and you feel like these guys, like you do not want to mess with them because they will like destroy you. Yeah. And even like they don't care who they destroy, they will destroy you.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's pretty like like they're pretty horrific.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a bit more into like what River is, and she becomes a bit more interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're really kind of starting to, I don't know, make something of her
Well,
character.
it's kind of like we said, like she's the biggest mystery.
Yeah.
Like what is she?
Mm-hmm.
Not well, we know what she is, but it's kind of a thing. Anyway, so that's it for this episode. We will return next week with the 4th episode, Shining.
Shining?
It's Shindig.
Shindig.
Shindig. Shut up.
Shindig, like
Okay.
like a party, like
You're gonna
shindig.
this like right away. I'm not good with words. Like, ever.
That's okay.
So we're just gonna deal with
That's
that.
fine.
Okay, and then episode 5, Safe. I got that.
Okay,
right
got that one, yeah.
All right, well, this is Dara.
All right, this is Cailin.
Signing off. See ya.
Peace.
You can't take the sky from me.